Blue Apron has always been guided by a love of food.
Farm fresh ingredients, step-by-step recipes.
At Blue Apron, we work directly with more than 100 family farms.
Is Blue Apron even worth it? Is Blue Apron worth it? That's a very subjective question, and my opinion might be a little bit different than, somebody else's opinion. So I can't really definitively answer that question for the individual, but what I can do is show you what Blue Apron offers, show you what a weekly box looks like, what some of the meals look like, and I can give you my opinion on if it's worth it or not for me, and let you decide from there. So let's get into it. Getting started with Blue Apron, of course, is pretty straightforward. You just need to go to their website, or you can download their app. I went to the website, and of course, they've got a 50% off your first box order, which it seems like every single meal kit delivery system has got some sort of promo in the beginning, so you gotta take advantage of those. You're gonna go through and choose your preferences. It's all pretty standard stuff. If you're a vegetarian or there's certain meats that you don't like to eat, you can kind of put those preferences in here. But after that, you're gonna choose your plan. And I'm doing 3 meals per week with 4 servings per meal. The idea is me and my wife can have dinner one night and then lunch the next day. But I honestly, most of the time, end up eating a double portion for me because I'm fat, and then she's got dinner and lunch for the next day. But the normal person who eats well throughout the day, who isn't starving themselves, the portions are fine. I actually am, and I'll give this one an A+ on portions compared to what other meal kit delivery systems have. And you'll see here in a second what the box is. It's a lot of food. I spent $58 for this box because I have that code, which for 3 days of groceries, that's actually really solid and a pretty good deal. The normal price is $120, less of a good deal, but to be honest with how grocery prices are, and I gotta say the quality of the food, the quality of the ingredients are really top notch. There's something to be said about that. But I will say I was also really impressed by the different options that they had. The recipes looked interesting and something that I'm looking forward to kind of diving more into. But that's enough talking about that. Let's see what a box looks like. Everything's kept cold by this big, it's not aluminum foil, bubble wrap type thing. Everything's thrown in there, but everything is cold though. It does actually a really solid job keeping everything cold, and the produce is super fresh, and all of the meals, I guess they put them in these little plastic bags to keep ingredients together for the smaller stuff, and they are labeled so you know what they go with. And then you've got, nice little things like this is how they do the eggs, and the potatoes are like this. But honestly, it's a lot of food when you keep pulling everything out of the bag. I mean, it's a little overwhelming when you're pulling out all the ingredients because you're thinking, I'm going to have to cook all this. But, at the same time, you're getting bang for your buck, so why not? Only thing that I can complain about is this little gash here in the produce. I mean, that's it. That's the only thing that I'm seeing that's really a problem with anything in this bag. Everything else I'm happy about, and they have these giant ice packs in there, which is obviously pretty standard. How else are you gonna keep it cold? But those, kept the meat cold and everything looks good. I mean, there's not really much to say. Included in the box as well are the recipe cards, which show you what you're making. They've got the ingredients at the bottom so you can get everything out before you start cooking. And then on the back, they have the instructions with pictures. So it's pretty easy to follow. One gripe I'll say though is they forgot the correct recipe card for me. They gave me some pasta thing that was supposed to be a quick and easy, but I ordered the tofu katsu, which you'll see later on. I actually had to pull up on my phone from the website the correct recipe card and use that. But that's enough yapping for me. Let's get some cooking in. I will say, I feel like I did my thing on this one. I'm blown away that I actually made this. And I mean, yeah, I know I have the ability and the skill, but like, how often are you actually making meals like this? I'm honestly not enough. Maybe I'm going to more often. Having everything like that instruction card going down the way and like having all the ingredients there, it honestly makes it so much easier. But now I have to taste it and see, you know, how it comes out. And like, let's be real though, a lot of your experience with these types of things is like, how good are you at cooking? You know what I'm saying? Because like, if you're not good at cooking and you can't cook the recipes well, it's gonna suck. And you're like, oh, well, Blue Apron sucks. Well, yeah, you suck at cooking. Am I any good at cooking? I don't know, but it looks like I am. All right, let's actually give this thing a genuine taste test here, because it's got the capers on the top, we've got chicken, and we've got orzo pasta and zucchini. I'm just gonna get like a really big bite of this and just see. It's really good. But like, I tried really hard on this recipe. Like all the tips and such that I picked up over my time doing this, I used every single one. And I just really was on top of cooking this, and it turned out really well. I'm actually super happy with this recipe, and I have a ton of leftovers. I feel like maybe a little bit more of the orzo pasta would be nice, but I've got food for Shan tonight, and I've got food for me and her again tomorrow for lunch. So honestly, I'm rocking with this recipe. Should I? Damn, I don't want to be too like on the front end, but like, I really like this. All right, forget it. I'm gonna give it a 9. First night, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay, so meal number 2 was the tofu katsu, and I'm not gonna do a music montage on this one because I feel like I just gotta talk through it. I got some anger towards this meal. To start off, this was the one that they forgot the recipe card on. Not the end of the world. I was able to go on the website and pull up the recipe card for it. A little bit, you know, I guess more complicated looking at my phone, but not the end of the world. And on top of that, they also had a substitution. This, I feel like they handled very professionally. They said, okay, there's a problem with the flour. We did this substitution so that we could get it out to you on time. They put a little card in there. I actually knew about it on the front end because they sent me an email. All of that's great. But this is what I was talking about when you get into a recipe that you're not expecting to be as difficult as it is. And if you just come home from work and you're ready just to go and make your, it says 45 to 60 minutes, no problem. I'll go ahead and make some tofu katsu. Easy. Not easy. But I will say I feel like it's my own cooking skill. There's quite a few things that I did wrong with this, and I feel like if I were to come back to this recipe, knowing what I know now and also being maybe a little bit more prepared, I don't know in what ways yet, but one of the things I did was definitely smash the tofu a little bit too much and it kind of made it crumbly. But the breading and the dipping in the egg wash and frying it the way it is, but mixed with the side dishes, it just became too much. And honestly, it took me well over an hour. And at the end, my kitchen was trash. That was the experience. But let's just see how it tastes.
The plate result, it's not horrible. It's kind of like a chicken tender or like a French toast. It's kind of crispy, you know? But man, this was a lengthy process and it was difficult. And I ain't even gonna cap, it's probably my cooking skill that has a lot to do with it. But honestly, I couldn't imagine coming home one day and being a beginner cook and trying to do this, but I mean, I am a beginner cook, and I did come home one day and do this. Anywho, my camera's dying, so I need to try this real quick so we can actually give it a rating. The little side salad, I actually really like that. I actually really like that. I normally do that with cucumbers, some sort of like cucumber salad, but that's actually really good. Let me try the tofu here. All right, it was actually pretty good, and even though there's probably user error in this, damn, that's still pretty good. Okay, let me try the bok choy as well. Not a fan of the bok choy. And then rice is just rice. I mean, it's a good idea. And I can see why a lot of people will like this. But was it convenient? Not really. It was actually super difficult. Would I try this again? I think I would, but I'm gonna have to figure out a better way to do this. Maybe if you work out a system, this could be cool. And again, user error, but like from my POV, with cost and everything else, 6 out of 10. Meal number 3 was definitely easier than meal number 2. And it looks good. If I got that at dinner, like people, yeah, they tried it. And again, you know, plating skills. It's all about the chef's skills at the end of the day. But I say let's give it a solid try and see how we're looking. Pork with the pear. That was delicious.
I'm gonna stop it right here for a second because I feel like I gotta chime in. My review of this meal is mad boring. Like, could you even tell that was delicious? Yeah, it was pretty freaking good, but like my face doesn't look like what am I saying? And pork with the pear?
Pork with the pear?
Why'd I say it like that? I don't know. But I'm gonna skip a lot of this, and you know, you're welcome. Not wasting your time here. Subscribe.
I think that's what's cool about Blue Apron is like just trying different things. Like I never would have thought about throwing potatoes in sesame oil. And I never would have thought about using the same sesame oil for the carrots as well. So I feel like if I was a better chef or a better cook or whatever you want to call it, I would have definitely done better in making this. But at the same time, this was not a hard recipe, not like yesterday at all. What's on the plate is delicious. I mean, it's solid. It's a solid meal. But at the same time, it doesn't have that like punch, like wow. Like it's good for what it is, but it's not like a meal that I'd be like craving to do again. I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
So, to answer the question, is Blue Apron worth it? I'm gonna say yes. I've had a lot of fun making these meals, minus the tofu katsu. That was honestly a headache, which kind of brings it back to what I think of Blue Apron overall. I think it's a little bit more targeted towards somebody who has a little bit more cooking knowledge, or at least that's kind of what I kind of perceiving it as. My other experiences with meal prep kits, like for instance HelloFresh or Every Plate, their recipes were a little bit easier, but on the flip side, their ingredients weren't up to that same level that Blue Apron is presenting here, as well as the options you're getting with Blue Apron. A lot of the recipes are pretty fun and you get plenty of variety as well. Is it something that I would continue to do indefinitely? Probably not, just because it does get kind of expensive. But just like with anything, I think that you should give it a shot, especially if you have one of those discount codes, because at that point it is kind of a good deal and you're gonna learn so much just by getting into these recipes. And it does take away the kind of hassle of going to the grocery store, but you're definitely going to be cooking, and some of those recipes might be a little bit more involved than you were kind of originally anticipating. So I don't think it's something that I would continue to do forever, but I'm definitely gonna be getting some more boxes and I'm definitely going to enjoy it. But if you've tried Blue Apron, what do you think? Is it worth it or not? This is my second meal kit review video. I did HelloFresh about a year ago, and if you want to see my thoughts on that, check it out. And I'm putting out content all the time, so hit that subscribe button, man. I'm really out here. I'm really making these videos. It's a weekend, it's a Saturday. What am I doing? I'm in my kitchen, making content. What are you doing if you're not subscribing and coming along for the journey? Something like that? I don't know, I'm just yapping. Just yapping. See you in the next one.